This can be. All right. Hello, everybody. Hi, Tetyana. We know you as the owner of the Ukrainian LSP Linguistic Center, and I believe you're originally from Moldova, but you live and work in Lviv, Ukraine, and are very active in the linguistic community there. I read you run an annual translation competition for high schoolers, for example, there, and you're also closely collaborating with universities. What else should anyone know that is maybe not so familiar with you about what you do and how you got involved in the localization industry?
Well, hi everyone. Hi, Stefan. Thank you for inviting me to speak. I'm in localization, not in localization, in translation. I've started the translation business 24 years ago.
Wow.
From scratch, absolutely from scratch, from little room. And in a couple of years, when my business, so to say, grew on local clients, I've decided to look for something else. And then in the beginning of 2000, probably 2003 and or 05, I went to localization conference, LISA conference, if you do remember that organization.
Yeah.
Yes, and I happened to be the first Ukrainian person at that conference. And later on, for a number of years, I also was the first Ukrainian person whom people asked, well, Ukraine, is it a part of Russia or something like that? Is the language different? But of course, now things changed, but at that time it was. And then being the first, it was a huge advantage. Of course, at that time, I've got a lot of help from companies who were ready to teach us. We grew, and then I've decided, because we needed more people, I cooperated a lot with universities. I really like it very much. And we also had a lot of various very interesting initiatives, publishing books with stories of translators, making exhibitions with photos that made by translators. Oh, like having fun in the industry.
Yeah. Things, of course, have changed a little bit these last couple of weeks, and actually, the reason that we came to you and thought we should ask you about how things are in Ukraine is this heartbreaking post we saw on social media about having to send your husband off to war. Something I'm sure not many localization people are used to. What can you tell us about the situation currently that you're in?
Actually, my husband was not even supposed to be called to war. He is 53, but he has a military background in the social times. He really decided, he volunteered. He came a couple of times to that military office asking him to take him because his experience could be useful
Yeah.
and helpful. And I also have two sons that could be called, I hope no. And for him, it was probably not only about protecting Ukraine, but also about protecting his sons. So like he told, let me be the first.
Yeah.
Just probably there won't be a need for you to go there. And now, and of course, it's something that you never expect to have in your life, because you're not so prepared. You're not prepared for that things. You don't understand how to deal with it. But actually, I'm I'm proud. I'm proud of him doing this, because that's the right thing to do. And I really hope, I'm not thinking about any other options. I hope he'll be safe.
Yeah.
And now he's experienced, so it's probably a second or at the beginning of third week, second week, when he is there. And he understands that his experience was really his life experience, his not only his military experience. It's very important. It's very helpful.
How does the communication work? Are you in touch with him on a regular basis, or he gives you an
Yes,
update?
yes, he calls in the morning and in the evening when he has time. Now the things are very busy.
Yeah,
So when he has possibility, he writes me something, sending all this
yeah,
smile and kisses. And yes, at the moment we have communication, and it's a great relief. It's a great relief.
yeah. So I can't even imagine. I mean, it gets hectic enough running a company when you're in a non-war zone, in a peace zone. But how is it affecting your life as a business owner? What is going on right now?
Uh, when all this started, I thought that sometimes life knows better, probably for us, because in November, actually, we've started new business, family business, event company. In the company we have in Linguistic Center, we have like two departments, one working with MLVs and another working with local clients. So I wanted to have more time for the new company, for the new toys, let's say, and I delegated the management and project management to the company that is located in Poland. I don't know. It was not like my smart decision or something like that. It was just that I had a person, reliable person whom I could trust, who managed that since, well, in November we started. So since December, the company manages that part of the work. And now I think, wow, Tetyana, you're so smart, because
Yeah,
I couldn't even plan, because we never stopped. Whatever happened, all these continuous localization processes, everything worked with us. Though of course a lot of our resources are in Ukraine, a lot left to Poland as well. But there are people who are still in Ukraine, and well, it was sometimes hard to coordinate this, but it was at that moment it was not even like my task, so I really um, dealt with all that emotions and all that things we were doing, because from the second day we accepted a lot of refugees in our house, and like at the moment, we have only one person left, actually, my employee. She is
yeah,
from Lugansk. She stays here with us now. But the first weeks, we had a lot of people in our house, and it was that was important, because of
I
course business is important,
yeah.
but these were real people who run from bombing, and it was important to care about them. But that part worked, so and works pretty smooth. And the local part, we opened office a week ago. So we go to office. There are only three of us now there, including my daughter. And we opened the office actually because there were so many calls and letters. People need translation of documents. We volunteer a lot. We translate a lot for humanitarian aid organizations. We also translate, manage commercial translations,
Yeah.
because of course all translators need to eat something. And me myself, I haven't translated, for example, things like birth certificates probably for 20 years at the
Yeah.
moment.
There's probably
But we
a lot of that going on with the
yes,
refugee crisis right now.
yes, and it's always very urgent, because
Yeah.
either for example, twins were born, these days, and people need to have documents for them or to take them abroad. So it's always urgent. It's so many people's destinies in your hands that we really work a lot.
There's a lot of people that have fled over the borders, and I was wondering whether that comes to mind for you too. If I think about what I would be doing, I'm just amazed at the courage that is displayed by the people like yourself that are staying. So how does that decision play in your mind? Do you plan on continuing to be in Lviv, or do you have doubts?
Of course, I have doubts. Of course, I don't think it's a courage. Um, as I said, I have two sons. They won't be allowed from the country.
Yeah.
So it's a decision. I always, and I also have a daughter whom we have long talks with, that please leave the country. Please just go, whatever. Yes, but she also doesn't want at the moment to leave the country. So I have to, that decision, like, here you have your sons,
Yeah.
here you have your daughter, and it's not a decision, when to leave. It's not a decision we were taught to take. It's something I always, during the recent days, I have this very mixed feelings, because only 2 days ago we had the first bombing, and it's awfully scary. It's
Yeah.
awfully. It's
What do
I
you
cannot
what do you
imagine.
do what do you do when there's a bombing like that? I mean, it's difficult to
Uh,
imagine. And forgive me my ignorance, but there's a bomb going off. What happens?
uh, as for us, it was the first time we go. Of course, we have air raid alarms, so we go to basement. Our basement is pretty much well equipped to sit there, to stay there. But when I first heard these days, even the sound,
Yeah.
it's such a feeling of, when you feel helpless. You understand you can do nothing, and I cannot even imagine what people in Mariupol or Kharkov survived. I saw actually people from Kharkov came to us on their way to border, stayed with us for a couple of days, and it was really, it was so hard even to look at them.
Yeah.
It's a very traumatic. Of course, it's not even traumatic. Probably it's not the right word. It's a very hard experience in life. So after that, I continued to talk to my daughter. So probably I hope she'll go, but probably I'll stay, because, well, it's always, I spend nights, like trying to wait, what should be
Yeah.
the best. That's such a choice, like impossible choice.
Yeah. It's I don't know whether you've seen or what your impression is of that on the ground over there, but certainly it's my experience that the localization community is a tight knit community, and it has galvanized around a number of ongoing initiatives trying to help our colleagues in the Ukraine. At Multilingual, we've reported extensively on the language pledge Ukrainian, which was soliciting businesses to continue to do Ukrainian localization regardless of economic benefits. And ProZ and SmartCat has helped with that. Jan Hendricks from Localanch also organized an Artists for Ukraine benefit concert this weekend, and has now raised over 10,000 euros. So I assume these are drops in the bucket of water for you. Do you have any specific initiatives or things that you think we can do abroad to help?
Uh, I don't know, like, about initiatives, if, because a lot of things is going on. We get so much help now.
Yeah.
Uh, I I personally got so much support, at least, well, from people writing to me uh, every day, people from the industry.
Yeah,
For example, I have like on a daily basis a person with whom I spoke 20 years ago at one of the conferences,
yeah,
retired long ago from the industry. He writes me like every day asking me how I am, gives so many wisdom sometimes. And so we really get a lot of support here. I have some probably well, reading posts of my colleagues, and from what the correspondence I still read with MLVs. Um, uh, Probably I think what could be done, it's like not forgetting about us, not being annoyed by all this, because I
yeah,
see that now first weeks were all this attitude, and now of course it interfered the process. I understand that it interfered, that
yeah.
sometimes deadlines are missed,
Mm,
but they are not missed because we meet them. They are missed because people are in different conditions. Somebody sitting in the shelter,
yeah,
somebody, even if they are abroad, they are not in the perfect conditions, to work. And well, sometimes it's so, well, it's really good. I understand that we cannot like demand this from people, yes, but it is good to see us like living persons, not just
mm,
statistics or something like that. Not try to probably reduce the rates, because we also had this strange letters. Probably some companies think that we are in despair and we will just grab whatever we can. Of course, we are in despair, of course, but again, people left their home. Probably they have no place to return. Uh, some women translators living with their children somewhere in refugee camps abroad. So it's not the time to probably to take advantage of this,
yeah,
because it hurts. It hurts, and
mm,
I pretty much understand why it happens. But now, when we are on the, so to say, other side, every time, even it hurts even if you get that like regular message. Oh, uh, I hope you'd have a great rest of the week.
yeah. That's
Like what? Like what? Especially in the first day of war, like we were not sure that we'll have the rest of the week.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. It's a little uncomfortable for on this side as well, because we've had correspondence via email, etc. And a normal email, you start with some kind of a greeting and saying maybe how you're doing, and I find myself very conflicted asking that of somebody who's in a war zone and is getting bombed. So it's very tricky, I think, on this side of the fence as well. What do you think we don't understand very well, or we should understand better about what's going on in Ukraine?
uh, it's really not easy to formulate. Probably they think that Ukraine is definitely not a Russia, not Russia, because and though people often consider the like population very close tradition, no, it is not. Like a person who arrived in Ukraine when I was 15, so I saw all these differences, though I never lived in Russia, but still I saw all these differences. It's absolutely different attitude to life, to country, to government, to taking decisions. So it is important to understand, and it is also, as I think it is again, it's important to understand that we are not a statistics, that we are living, we're people whose life will never be the same, probably. I'm sure it will never be the same. It will take time. When we win, yes, it will still take time. Well, half of the country is destroyed, half of the country is in ruins. And my daughter said she works a lot helping refugees at the train station. And she said, when I understood that nothing will be the same is when some boy working nearby, he asked her, where did you work before the war? And that formulation, before the war, it switched everything. And so it's hard to know what you know about the war. It's hard to get the general idea what is happening everywhere, because it really it breaks the heart even to read news. And I'm sure that we also don't know all these things, what is going on. But still, the more I think will be seen and not forgotten that we are people with broken destinies, and I think it's also what I thought a lot these days is that nobody now can take what they have for granted, because it could come everywhere. We are now doing this job in the country, paying this huge price, probably for the world, and nobody is protected, because today you have your morning coffee, enjoying the nice weather and spring, and tomorrow everything changes like that. So it's something that it's good to remember until you have it. That's probably, I put it awkwardly, but it's something that I wish I knew earlier, so to
Yeah.
say.
Do you have any special message for MLVs or direct localization clients outside of the Ukraine that you want to part with before we close the interview?
Uh, I really want to thank you for support, for this a lot of personal support, a lot of support from companies. And I hope that, I'm sure that even now we have a lot of work, but when we'll stand, when we'll win, will definitely be the best stress resilient, providers here, because we prove that we are like a people of Ukraine. So I want to thank you for really thinking about us and staying with us and not looking for some other solutions, because it's really very important for us now here.
Well, Tetyana, it's been a real honor. I'm really touched that you made the time in your busy schedule, your dangerous schedule, to
Yes,
talk to us
absolutely.
today. And let me assure you, we're full of admiration for the courage of the Ukrainian people in light of this horrible invasion. And we will look for opportunities to continue to support you. Thank you so very much, and stay safe. You're in our prayers.
Thank you. Thank you.